BMW i3 sedan test drive in China goes badly, car catches fire. This is the decade of electronic vehicles, and the race to be the number one in the market has started. The future for electric cars is now. We all know that this market leader is none other than Elon Musk's Tesla. That does not mean that the others are lacking behind in this. The top players from the market and some legendary players, which are ruling in the car-making industry, are trying to get their feet in the EV market as well. There's one legend among them, BMW. This old German company, which is also the world's greatest auto car manufacturing giant, is trying to catch up in the EV race. Hello everyone and welcome back to Tech Zen. Today we are talking about burning news coming from China. Yeah, it's literally burning. I ain't even joking. Are you ready to know? So without any delay, let's get started. And please make sure you hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on any new updates from our channel. The German car manufacturing giant BMW ended production of the i3 hatchback at its Leipzig plant in Germany. This factory has just over 250,000 units in its 9 years. The weird city car has officially been discontinued, but the name lives on in China with its long wheelbase 3 Series converted into an electric sedan. Since early May, EV buyers in the world's most populous country have been able to purchase the i3 at BMW's newly built Lydia plant in Shenyang, as the quirky hatch was never sold in the People's Republic of China. Unfortunately, the first 3 Series with air suspension got off to a bad start when Tesla's rival, the Model 3, recently caught fire during its test drive in Shenyang. Flames appeared while the vehicle was in motion, but thankfully the driver realized the danger and pulled over to the side of the road. I know that you guys have seen a lot of videos of EVs igniting, but this one's a little different. A video is a lot of attention in the market where the BMW i3 was never completely engulfed in flames, as the fire emanating from the rear of the vehicle did not spread. It's unclear if there was a problem with the battery pack, but it's worth noting that the car's only electric motor is mounted in the rear. Towards the end of 11 minutes, there's still no sign of the firefighters. It seems that you've arrived at the crime scene. This SUV is believed to belong to the dealership that sold the i3 sedan in question. What do you think about this incident? Comment in the chat box below. According to local media, the i3 eDrive 35L was only delivered 1 month ago. BMW exclusively markets an electric sedan powered by a 66 kilowatt-per-hour battery pack and its 282 horsepower motor with 295 horsepower pound-feet or 400 newton-meters of torque. It takes 6.19 seconds to reach 62 miles per hour from a standstill and can travel 327 miles or 526 kilometers on a single charge based on the local CLTC cycle. The i3 is in the same league as most other current generation all-electric cars. It's small, light, and has a smallish battery pack. BMW's made it relatively luxurious and expensive, but it's still basically a fancy Nissan Leaf, rather than being compared to the Model S. The most interesting thing about it is that the optional range extender does not significantly impact the all-electric range, presumably because it's very light and small, unlike the relative large engines in the Volt and C-Max Energy. The zero-emission i3 sedan loses some of its gas-powered models. Practicality is additional hardware reduces rear seat cargo capacity from 70 liters to 410. Another difference is ride height, as the eDrive 35L sits 44 millimeters or 1.73 inches closer to the road. Here the question comes, why are EVs catching fire? But before we get that answer, please subscribe to our channel if you still haven't yet. An obvious reason for an EV to catch fire is the fact that the EV's battery management system or software, which is called the BMS, is faulty, and I'll explain this briefly. Batteries, like our hearts, have a limited ability to withstand heat and pressure, and if left untreated, will explode in a stroke to death. If this situation was handled correctly a few times during the testing phase, the risk of fire might have been mitigated. This is due to the lack of thorough checks on how the battery is installed, and whether it's manually by humans or by an automatic, and whether it is properly tested. So a slight mistake in the process will cause problems for customers who buy it in the future. Therefore, it's a painstaking process that must be carried out effectively in it. Businesses are confused about what went wrong, how to troubleshoot problems, or how to rekindle trust in the customer. It's also complex stress conditions for them. That's it. Old companies and several other emerging manufacturers are facing this problem. Automakers like General Motors have had this kind of problem with Bolt EVs, but that doesn't mean that the end of the EVs and similar EVs are dangerous. Processes and technologies used to manage battery heat stroke using enterprise-maintained BMS and cooling systems to stabilize products over the long term and to maintain the goodwill of customers in other aspects. Manufacturing defects could be a reason for batteries catching fire. Remember, electric vehicles are new and emerging technologies, unlike traditional internal combustion engine vehicles, which have been in the market for more than 200 years. So these defects can only be reduced gradually, and it could take some time. Electric batteries, when subjected to external damage, tend to catch fire. This again depends on how the consumer handles the battery, as well as the rigidity of the battery. Charging patterns another reason for catching fire. The batteries should be charged as per the user manual provided by the OEM. Subjected to extreme temperature may result in batteries catching fire. Lithium-ion batteries consist of a number of cells arranged together. If even a single cell malfunctions, it causes a chain reaction that affects the other cells and results in catching fire. This process is called thermal runaway, and it's another common reason for the fire. In conclusion, we can say that in all incidents happening around us, BMS may be to blame for some vehicle or climatic conditions. We used to see this very rarely, but lately we've seen a lot of incidents because there's too much competition and too many companies, and it's not good for utilities to deal with all of this. Electric vehicle battery packs are made of hundreds to thousands of battery cells, each of which contains a flammable electrolyte. Managing the risks of lithium-ion battery fires comes down to two things: keeping the electrolyte from catching fire and keeping a fire from spreading if it does. However, lithium-ion battery cells themselves can sometimes generate enough heat to ignite the electrolyte in a process called thermal runaway. Short circuits between the two electrodes in a battery cell, for example, can heat the electrodes. If these electrodes get too hot, the heat can trigger chemical reactions that quickly generate more heat until the electrolytes burst into flame. This seems to be what happened to the Tesla fires when damage to the battery packs caused short circuits leading to thermal runaway. What we can do is that we have the ability to work around the problem until it diminishes, because if the problem continues to grow, it will become a big problem for the industry itself that no one in the industry wants. It may take some time to resolve all these issues. We are waiting for companies to solve the situation. So it's not clear to say that the fire was a result of a battery explosion or something else, but it is good that the driver was safe. And it's still a long way for electronic cars to be able to be as much safe as the classical gas models, but if you think that, the gas and diesel models are not all that safe themselves. We've seen a lot of progress in the last decade in this sector, and it's sure to grow as Tesla and Fisker and others are building world-class models that can give a run to the orthodox internal combustion engine cars. And that'll do it for today's video, guys. We sincerely hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please click on the like button. Make sure you share it with all your friends and family. If you have any questions or comments for us, please share them with us in the comment space below. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel where you'll see even more of our incredible videos. Don't forget to ding-a-ling, press that bell icon on your way out so you are always updated whenever we have new uploads to our channel. And by the way, you can check out other videos we have too that have been specially selected just for you. Take a look around, and we'll catch up with you in our next video. Thanks for watching today, and we'll see you in the next one. Keep racing!